What kind of a hero are you going to be? What kind of a leader? What kind of a guide? I'm asked that myself because the recent passing of Koby Bryant brings up all those questions, brings those questions up in all of us, and sometimes a lot of fear, a lot of trepidation, a little bit of uncertainty. Why is that? Why is it when someone of stature, someone who's in the limelight all the time, makes us all think of our own humanity? One of the things I want you to think about is Koby Bryant was a superstar to millions of people. He was that superstar basketball player. He headed the LA Lakers. He did wonderful things. He was actually moved up in the team because one of his teammates was traded so that his team could be more cohesive, so that they would have someone who understood teamwork, not spotlight image. And that was Koby's job. It was to get his teammates to work together with him so they could be a more winning team. And that's what the LA Lakers saw in him. Now, some people may see in him issues from his past that, you know, he kind of fell into his job. He came from a long line of basketball champions, and some people thought that perhaps he took that too easily and thought he could have his way with the world. I think he learned from that, and I think that that is one of the things that heroes and leaders do, is they learn from their past and then they use that to strengthen themselves in their present and in their future. And without that, none of us make any headway. None of us has a pure, clean slate. Very few. And when we do, it's usually because we have had struggles in the past. Now, I don't know Koby Bryant. I've never met him, but I could feel, it's palpable, the feeling of his passing all over the world. For me, it was more meaningful when Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, was suddenly lost. In part because he aligns more with my mission. His continued message of conservation, 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 and helping other people, helping the public understand that wildlife is not something to be feared. Wildlife is not something to be wiped out because we don't understand it. His message was that wildlife is a part of our life, and it is necessary for us to live the happy, healthy lives we live because it fits in our ecosystem. His message, his family left a big hole in them for a short time, but then they were able, because of the structure and the team that he had built, they were able to pick up with almost just a blip of change and carry on his continued mission and his continued message. And now that his kids are more grown, they are actually more in that spotlight and able to carry on his message in a brighter way. They've been doing tons and tons of work. In the recent fires in Australia, their zoo has been able to help hundreds of thousands of animals because of that structure that Steve left in place for them. So how does that make us feel? And why does it always make us feel at such a loss? In part because we may not own that hero, that guide in ourselves. We are all heroes, we are all guides, we're all leaders to someone at some level in our lives. And when we are ready to own that leadership, then we are ready to master handling that structure underneath and being able to get our team together. We have to be able to get our team together because our team is the strength that carries us. Recently, more specifically to me, my friend and mentor, Linsey McLean, passed away. She is a biochemist. Many of you probably don't know her because she's not terribly famous, but she is instrumental in many of the things you're already aware of and in many of the areas that you may have heard of. She was an instrumental scientist in the breaking of the water problem in Flint, Michigan. And when I say breaking of it, I mean 20 years ago, breaking that information. She lived in Flint, Michigan. She recognized the health issues that she was seeing in her population, in her friends, in her community, and she did something about it. She carried on and took that message into the horse world because of her connection with horses, and that's where I intersected with her. As a veterinarian, as an equine veterinarian, that's where I met Linsey, and we began to collaborate, and I learned a ton of information about how to help horses with their nutrition, with their diet, with their metabolic issues through her. And when she died, interestingly enough, her company was still able to carry on. They're still able to serve their clients and serve the people around them with almost not even a blink, because she had the structure in line for them. She had the structure available to help those people do what they needed to do. And that's what a guide does. That's what that leader does. They're not just there for the limelight and the spotlight to rake in the money. They're there because they have a vested interest in serving their community and in setting in part that structure that helps that community carry forward, so that when they're gone, it's there. And this doesn't just mean I buy a life insurance policy. It means that I have identified people within my team who have strengths in areas that can fill in the gaps, and I have people in my team who can make this move forward even without me, because quite often the leader of the team is the weakest link in that situation. Why is that? Because if the team can't go on without that leader, there is no team. So what kind of team leader are you? Do you have tactical excellence to administer to many? Are you going to be able to leave behind a legacy? And by a legacy, I mean a legacy to serve others when you're not there. A legacy that's got structure so that service to others is still in place and you don't leave them without your help. I put this out there because I want to empower people to realize that there are all kinds of people who look up to you as a team leader. There are all kinds of people who look up to you as a valued member. For my animal chiropractors, you're doctors. You guys have gone through professional school, you've gone through the extra training at Animal Chiropractic Education Source, you have built a practice, you talk to your community, you talk to animal owners. You have this position. What's the structure that's going to be there so that when you're no longer available, someone else can step in without any issues and be able to take it over? That's what I charge you with. I really want you to think about, how do you support those around you? How do you serve those who work with you so that they are so empowered to be on your team that they would give up everything else, get on that spaceship, and never come back? Thanks for joining me today. This is Dr. Amy Hayek, President and co-founder of Animal Chiropractic Education Source. If you would like to find more information about what it means to be an animal chiropractor, what it means to take that extra leap off the ledge, to be that scientist, as Neil deGrasse Tyson mentions, you're out on the edge. There are no cliff notes. The answers are not in the back of the book. You've got the unknowns and you're asking all the questions, and you've got to have a support team there to be able to carry on. If you're ready for all that, find us at animalchiropracticeducation.com.